Joining us right now to talk about this big announcement and the implications it has from Land Rover is Rory, and it's great to see you. It's great to
Great
see
to
you
see
here
you
in
too.
India.
Thank you.
Welcome and congratulations. I
Thank you
think
very much.
significant for our market, no doubt, but also significant for the brand and for the company because first time we're hearing about production going outside of Solihull. So,
Yep.
um, what's the background? When did this idea start?
So, this is a major moment in time, both for Jaguar Land Rover and for the Tata Group as a whole. It's a real privilege for us that the first time since 1970 that this car will be produced outside the UK, that it's here in India, which as an Indian-owned company is a great honour and a privilege. Work on this started a couple of years ago because it takes a little bit of time to lay the investment down and some of the facilities required.
Yeah.
And once we'd sown the germ of an idea, then everyone was really behind us. The payback in the Indian market's really good. And the quality that we get out of the Pune plant is absolutely fantastic as well. So, it was an easy decision in some respects.
I know you say that now, but there are many layers to that.
Sure.
Because go back a couple of years and there was a lot of pressure saying, the brand should be doing much better. In India, it's like a second home market.
Yeah.
The market itself was under a lot of pressure, but we were seeing some of the other brands still growing.
Yeah.
Given that sort of tentativeness and the fact that it's a tough market also, then pushing a decision like this through shows a lot of conviction,
Yeah.
a lot of faith in what you see coming.
Yeah.
What do you see coming?
I think, if I go back to 2 years ago, we knew we had a fantastic product coming. And 2 years ago, of course, we were really just launching this globally, but we knew we had a winner and it was the right time to lay the groundwork. In terms of what we see coming, so first of all, this is on an architecture that's flexible called MLA, which means we can offer ICE powertrains, plug-in hybrid, and in the near future, fully electric. So I guess, in short, the answer to your question about what's coming is we've got an all-new electric Range Rover coming in the next 12 months, which is like super exciting. We're all really excited about that.
Quick word about plug-in hybrids before we move to the
sure.
EV. There's a lot of confusion around, firstly, whether it's right for India, especially in the luxury space.
Yeah.
And then if it is, then, is it an either-or thing or should it be plug-in hybrid and BEV? How do you see that? And what's the experience been like in other markets?
Yeah, so I think we're at a point of inflection, really, in terms of the transition from ICE through to EV. And in many respects, plug-in hybrid's a really nice solution. And where it's been done...
Good step.
Yeah, it's a good step. And where it's been done properly, like in this car, where you got a range of like 110 kilometers, what we've experienced in other regions is that most consumers use it on electric all day, every day in their everyday business. But if they want to take that long trip at the weekend, they haven't got the range anxiety because they know they've got the engine to fall back on. So actually the PHEV is a really nice solution as we transition towards EV. I do think the ultimate destination is fully electric. Just a question now of how long and how fast it goes. And in some respects, the infrastructure may drive that as much as anything else. But we're very fortunate. We're going to be able to offer everything in this with no compromise. So the consumer can decide.
That's a big next step.
Yeah.
I know the pre-orders have already begun.
Yeah.
The buzz is reaching fever pitch.
Yeah.
When does India get it?
So we launch it in roughly 12 months' time. And then the Indian market will be able to order from the get-go.
Yeah.
We've got roughly 33,000 people on the waiting list globally, and about 400 of those are from India. So the waiting list is already building up in India, and it will get it, with the rest of the world.
What's there's always that key learning that comes from any Range Rover, any generation. Being the flagship, it of course brings new things to the company, to the brands. But now that everything has kicked up pace, you see, the requirement for new models, for new upgrades, for new generations.
Yeah.
It's just non-stop. You need to keep coming to the market. And especially now that you have gone in this big direction and made announcements, EV, not just with the Jaguar context, but the other, Land Rover brands.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see that transition happening? How quickly will we see those options coming?
I think, so we'll see them coming steadily over a period of time. We've got our reimagined strategy to be carbon neutral. We're absolutely on course to deliver that. And this will be the first of a rollout of a number of cars, as you say. And then the speed of the transition, as I say, will depend on the consumer and the infrastructure, etc. So there's a little bit of wait and see. The great thing with this particular car and the Range Rover Sport sibling is that we can match the consumer demand with the powertrains that we offer.
So I have to ask you the story. There's been a
Sure.
lot of talk about luxury EV being done right.
Yeah.
This product anyway sort of is emblematic of
Yeah.
luxury done right,
Yeah.
and so you're now putting the EV part onto it. But when you look at the sport,
Yeah.
there's also luxury, but there's of course performance.
Sure.
So performance EV, is that the next sort of box to tick?
Yeah, that's certainly on the list of things. And I think, as you say, I mean, one of the things we've sought to do with this car, and indeed with Range Rover Sport, it's a Range Rover first rather than an EV first. You know, and I can't talk too much about the EV yet. We're not quite at the
fair.
point of reveal.
Yeah.
But it will be a Range Rover first, and that's been really important to us. We did an awful lot of customer research when we were coming up with the concept for the EV Range Rover, and it was, for goodness sakes, don't change the fact it's a Range Rover. It's a Range Rover first, and then it's a propulsion choice. And that's the ethos we've gone with both Range Rover and Range Rover Sport.
Is it a different customer? Is there also a different customer, you think, or is it the existing
I
Range
think-
Rover customers
I think
also
we'll get a bit of both. And we can see that actually we've got 33,000 waiting list, as I said. And we can see in there a number of conquest customers from other rival brands. And there'll be some of our own in there as well. So it's a good mixture. I think we'll see a bit of both. But there'll definitely be incremental growth for Range Rover off the back of it.
So the one quick point about the Indian production now,
Yeah.
with the CKD operation, the plant's of course been there for a while. We've
Yeah.
had experience with 4 other models.
Yeah.
And so that part's sort of covered.
Yeah.
What's had to be done to accommodate now the flagship coming out of
So
Pune?
we've made a number of features standard that are totally relevant to the consumer in India. So for example, we've focused very much on the passenger, particularly in row 2. We've got rear seat entertainment as standard. We've got the fridge as standard. We've got hot stone massage as standard. So we've really tried to cater to the Indian market with what we've standardized and the things that we've curated for the Indian consumer.
And at the plant, any big changes or anything new that's been done to accommodate this?
No, so we were already producing cars there,
Yeah.
as you say. I mean, obviously there's
the
been
flexibility
some
was in place.
facilitation for this car in particular. In terms of quality standards, we already had very high quality standards for all of the other models in our lineup. So it's been facilitated, but no major changes.
It was nice to know that the cars that are here today are the ones from the
Yes.
local production.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
a
it's
very
really
strong
cool, isn't it?
statement.
Yeah.
Very cool. And speaking of cool, then can't wait to see the EV version.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see the market response.
Can't wait
now
to show it
as
to you.
well.
Yeah.
And thank you for your time.
No, thank you very much. Thank you.
Appreciate it.